friend of mine at the Fanzine channel did, yeah, he focuses on physical media stuff. And he mentioned there's an article recently on streaming fatigue. And I don't know what kind of studies facilitate this, but they're saying a lot of people, they're, as you know, they're paying more for their streaming services, like more than cable used to be. And they're
We
just
cut
so
the
burnt
cord
out.
and yeah.
They're so burnt out. And I'm like, I'm one of those people. You know, I'm more of a let's just put on one film, respect it, enjoy it, and that's it. And then streaming, I'll watch like TV and stuff. But I
Mhm.
feel like there's so much out there right now. You're getting like all the good stuff you want, but you're just getting a lot of crap.
Well, we're not used to this much product. And
Right. That's a
and I
good
yeah,
point.
I think back to, and I know you're going to talk about Pluto later and Tubi and all these things which are great. Um, but we also spend, I don't know how much time you spend flipping through. No, no, I mean hundreds and hundreds of just we take a quick look at the clip art. If it catches our attention, we might look at the two sentence synopsis and we move on. And I think back to like the Blockbuster days, and there's a finite amount of everything, and you took your chances, and you're like, well, how about this? And my friend Ellie was notoriously for only picking box cover art. And God forbid
Oh,
if the box cover had like embossed, like 3D kind of whatever, she's like, "Oh, look at this!" Like,
it's
no,
sold.
it's this. Don't get
Yeah.
bamboozled and sucked into getting this bad movie. But it
Right.
also it helped. There were movies that we would have never might not have given the chance, except we paid for the rental, We only had a few other
Right.
channels to watch, and it was like, well, we might as well watch it. Rarely did we just turn something off.
No,
Or,
that was the
and
thing. You were
yeah,
committed to it.
correct. Yeah, you already paid for it. You're like, we have it for 48 hours.
Yeah.
We're gonna get our money. And so there was movies that I look back, I'm so glad I saw it. Like I talked about the Crispin Glover movie Twister, not the tornado one.
Oh,
Uh,
right, right, right,
but
right.
yeah, that no, but one nobody really knows now, but it had an interesting cover. We're like, oh, let's check this out.
It looks good
Uh,
to me. Yeah.
yeah. So I think I see it both ways because then there's some things where I was just watching uh, a little thing on No Good Deed, with Ray Romano and Lisa Kudrow. I was like, yeah, that was a solid series. I'm glad I took the time to see that. But there's just a lot to wade through. So
There really is. Really are. And I really agree with what you said about there's too much content. And I feel like with that, maybe some good stuff or things in the past might get buried and overlooked
yeah,
because there is so much going at you. And the other side of the token is there's so much information about it available. Like I'm guilty of that. I look at the cover art, I read the synopsis, and then I have my phone right there and just doo-doo-doo, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
2% Rotten Tomatoes, not watching it. And it might be something that there's like a great scene in there that you miss.
Yeah,
But yeah, I feel like you and I do a pretty good job of finding the balance. We both go to theatrical movies and do rewatches, but then we'll take chances and, you know. But I do get the fatigue kind of aspect where it's
yeah,
like what you said, I'll
yeah.
spend a good 10 minutes jumping around until I
Yeah.
land on Tubi.
Which I do too. And Tubi's also is like, God, there's nothing. Like,
Yeah. Tubi's great for having like gems in there that are, but you have to look for them,
yeah,
usually in the like featured. And then there's a lot of crap. Like I have some friends that have like films on there, and I know they're not like big budget. They just like got picked up by Tubi, and that's it. Like only on Tubi. And I'm like, oh, I guess the
Th-
criteria you just
then
throw them on there,
it's good then. Uh,
right? Like I think they just take anything. You know,
yeah,
obviously I don't think you get because it's ad based. You don't
yeah.
get paid for it unless people watch it and there's revenue. So I think they kind of take anything. No offense to anybody. I mean,
No offense to
yeah.
you do what you have to
These
do.
aren't like
Yeah.
close friends. These are just people I like Facebook. They're like, "Oh, watch my thing on Tubi," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Well, oh,
And I
all right.
did, and I'm like, I should have something on Tubi.
I'm
This show
sorry I
should be on
did.
Tubi.
Yeah, yeah. We say all this. I'm like, oh, we'd be on Tubi in a
I
heartbeat if
know,
we could.
well,
So yeah.
hands down.